Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be picking the books that I'll be reading throughout the month of July. I've got my TBR jar here, so this is the third month that we've done this so far and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm going to continue doing this. I think it's really working for me. We'll be picking 7 prompts from this jar, and whatever I get I have to correspond it to the books on my bookshelf. My unread TBR, which is nearing 200 books at the moment, and I'm desperately trying to get it down. One of my videos from June was a summer recommendation video, and I did briefly mention in that some of the books that I want to personally read this summer, so I'm definitely going to have those on my mind when picking out this TBR and thinking about these prompts. TBR jar videos are definitely some of my favourite videos to watch. I hope you enjoy. Grab yourself a drink or a snack and we'll get straight into it. Let's pick the first prompt of July. Let's go with, ooh, that one. Ooh, okay, we haven't got this one yet. This one says a duology. Any book in a duology, it could be the first or the second book. I feel like there's an obvious one for me to pick here, but let me just look at my options. Okay, I think I've only got 2 options, so let's discuss those. First one is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. To be fair, I feel like this is going to become like a trilogy rather than a duology. I feel like she's releasing another one in the future. As of now, it's a duology, and I feel like we always thought it was a duology. Vicious, the first book in this series or duology, follows Victor and Eli. I think they're university students, or like they're doing their masters or PhD or something. One of them discovers how to like become a superhero. They kind of go from like best friends to like enemies, but that's all I remember from that book. And I did say that if I ever wanted to pick this up that I would read Vicious again, like reread it, just because I don't remember the majority of it. But I think again that's kind of why I haven't picked this up yet, because I know that it comes with rereading a book that I've already read, so that's kind of like been a bit of a mental block for me picking this up. So the second option is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I feel like this is the one that I should pick just because like I feel like I owe it to myself, because Stranger Dreamer was one of my favourite books, whereas Vicious wasn't. Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see where the story goes in this actually, because it left off in a really dramatic way. I did not think this was going to be the first pick of July though. I'm very surprised right now. Okay, time for prompt number 2. We've had this one before. It says by an author with your initial. Any author name with a K in it. I've gathered all the books that I think have K as an initial. So the first book is a book that I've had a long time. Like I feel like this video is starting with a lot of throwbacks, and that is Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid, which I've actually been eyeing up so much more recently. I got it years ago when it was super popular and hyped on BookTube, and I never picked it up. So yeah, that's definitely a great contender. The next one I feel like I mentioned in a previous video, but this is Catherine Heaney's Early Morning Riser. I picked this up in Liverpool with Jodie last year when we went to an R.F. Kuang event. Oh, I could read an R.F. Kuang. Okay, I'm not going to read an R.F. Kuang because I've already got one fantasy on the list, and I think that's enough for 1 month. If this prompt comes up again next month, then I'm definitely reading The Burning God, but I just don't want to read it yet. So yeah, we'll ignore that. We'll completely ignore that she could have been on this list. It sounds like a fun kind of like small town drama filled novel. A lot of the reviews about it is that it's like super heartwarming and just like brings a lot of joy into your life if you read it. That's a really good one if I need to pick me up. The next one that I've also had on my shelf for a while is Absorbed by Kylie Whitehead. It's dark and comedic, and it's about female insecurity, body horror and modern relationships. So it does sound really fun, and also Eliza Clark has blurbed it. This claustrophobic debut will suck you in and never spit you back out. High praise from Eliza Clark, who is one of my favourite authors. I just never felt like picking it up, and it's been like a good couple years now. I feel like this is a sign, and if I don't pick this I should put it in my charity pile. Mary H.K. Choi. These are the 2 books that I haven't read from her. I feel like the natural one to read would be Permanent Record, because I think I was reading these in publication order because I read Emergency Contact first. Really enjoyed that one, and this was the one that I really wanted to read by her initially. This one I picked up because it has a K. It's Hannah Kaner and it's God Killer, but I think it's actually like giving really super similar vibes to this one just because it's about killing gods, and I feel like that's what this duology is all about. So yeah, although I really do want to read this quite soon, maybe I'll save it for autumn. I'm just not going to read it in the same month as something so similar. And then the last one, which I am kind of leaning towards, is Rules for Banishing by Kate Alice Marshall. Jan gifted me this book and we were going to buddy read it, so if I pick this maybe I'll sneak her a little message. But yeah, this is I think a YA kind of like thriller. It's a really intriguing one. I don't know if again like I should save this for the autumn. Guys, I actually don't know. Like I'm really struggling, and it's only prompt 2. I'm gonna decide between these 3. Okay, which one am I feeling? Like which one am I gravitating towards? Would I be upset if you weren't picked? I'm gonna go with Such a Fun Age. I've decided. I've heard much better reviews about it, to be honest, and I just want a really safe option. It follows this babysitter who is accused of kidnapping the white child that she's babysitting, and it goes into kind of like the relationship between her and her friend who she was babysitting for, and that woman's performative activism. And like I said, I have been looking at this one a little bit more on my shelf recently, and it was the sort of book that, because I've had it for a while and haven't read it, I was actually considering giving away, but I knew like deep down that I wanted to read it. So yeah, I'm really glad that I picked this one actually. Let's go with our third prompt. I am gonna pick one really far down, so we haven't got it yet. Oh, fun! This one is by a favourite author. That is basically like a free pass to like read something I'm really excited about. I think I'm gonna pick a Taylor Jenkins read. This one was on my summer TBR, so I have to read it. Also, favourite author alert, I gave both The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six 5 stars, and Evelyn Hugo is like a personal favourite of mine. So yeah, it's definitely a favourite author. This one follows some of the characters from Evelyn Hugo. It's Mick Reaver, who is one of Evelyn's 7 husbands, and his subsequent family that he has. They're throwing a party at their home in LA, I think it is. It literally says Malibu on the front. They're throwing a party at their home in Malibu, and this book is literally set over the course of that one day, that one night that they have this party, and we know that the house goes up in flames and there's a ton of drama, and I'm so excited. And then that means that hopefully I'll be able to read Carrie Soto before going to Wimbledon in a couple of weeks. This is how we're looking so far. It's looking really strong actually. Time for prompt number 4. Most recently recommended. I think I got this a couple of months ago, and I took my friend Ross's recommendation for Sunburn. I actually don't know if I've been recommended something more recently than that. I cannot think of a single book that somebody's recommended me recently, like personally, that is also on my bookshelves. So I'm gonna repick prompt number 4. That was such a fail. A genre I don't usually read. Okay, I feel like I have to pick non-fiction for this one because I read quite widely. I could, I guess, pick between YA and non-fiction, but I feel like I should go for the latter just because that is a genre that I just rarely pick up, and I feel like I should take this opportunity to read something different. I think I already know the one that I want to read. Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This is Chanel's story about being sexually assaulted at university at Stanford and kind of what she went through as a result of that. It's described as an intimate, profoundly moving memoir that exposes a patriarchal culture biased to protect perpetrators, a criminal justice system designed to fail the most vulnerable, and ultimately shines with the courage required to move through suffering and live a full and beautiful life. I've wanted to pick this up for a few months now, so this has given me the perfect opportunity to put it on my TBR. Prompt number 5. 2024 TBR list. We have gotten this before. Oh my god, I feel like I really need to shuffle these. Okay, this time I'm actually going to go for another non-fiction because this was also in the back of my mind for the last pick. So yeah, I'm going to take this as a sign that I should also read that book. That is The 100 Years War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. This is on my 2024 TBR list. So obviously this doesn't include what's happening in Palestine currently, but this I think came out only a few years ago, so I think it's like mainly up to date. It's more of a history of settler colonial conquest and resistance from 1917 all the way to 2014. So around 100 years of Palestinian history. I'm definitely not assuming that I'm going to finish this within the month of July, just because I feel like this is going to take like a while for me to kind of get through. I don't want to rush through it. So this is definitely going on the TBR, but I just don't know if I will finish it within the month of July, but I'm so happy that I'm just going to start it. So that was 5 books down. We've only got 2 prompts left, so let me pick my second to last prompt. This one is a gifted book. Any book that's been gifted to me either by a publisher or a friend. I'm gonna go with Brutes by Does Tate. So this is a book that was gifted to me from Faber as a finished copy, which is so lovely. This is set in Florida, and it's about a missing girl and how that impacts the community she's from, her friends, her family. I think it's described as a mixture of the Florida Project and the Virgin Suicides, which is really intriguing. Through a darkly beautiful and brutally compelling lens, Does Tate captures the violence, horrors and manic joys of girlhood. Brutes is a novel about the seemingly unbreakable bond in the wee of young friendship and the moment it is broken forever. That sounds fantastic and right up my street. Kind of similar, like it's giving me like a lot of different things, including Carla Henkel's Other People's Clothes. I'm so excited to fit in a book that's about girlhood. Like that is my thing. Now for the last prompt. There is one book that I have in mind that I mentioned earlier in the video, but if I don't get it, I don't get it. It's Carry On or Finish a Series. I was literally thinking about this book today. Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. I uploaded a TikTok today, which is very out of character for me, but I do have one of those and it is always linked below. I'm actually going to try on there a little bit from now, so yeah, if you're interested in potential content from me over there, definitely check it out. But yeah, I did mention this series on there as one of the many books that will always be in my heart, that kind of like shaped me. I did include this book despite not having read it, but just the series in general. But yeah, I never actually finished this series despite it having such a big presence on my channel like a few years ago. This is the final book in the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy, which is a really fun teen romance, and I'm really in the mood for romance right now, so this is beyond perfect. I kind of ghosted this series for a couple of years and I feel bad about that, so we're going to correct that, we're going to finish it, and I will hopefully include it in a vlog because I think that would be really fun. I really do need to fit Carrie Soto on this list because I'm going to Wimbledon in a couple of weeks. I feel like I have to read Carrie Soto's back for like a themed video. It just makes sense. So yeah, let me just go for an 8th prompt and see what happens. It's judge a book by its cover, and I have to say I do really like these covers. Both this one and Malibu Rising just give such summer vibes. But yeah, we're going with Carrie Soto is back. It's Carrie Soto's redemption story. She's actually 37 years old at this point and she makes a return to tennis. 6 years after her retirement, Carrie finds herself sitting in the stands of the 1994 US Open, watching her record being taken from her by a brutal, stunning British player named Nicky Chan. Even if it means swallowing her pride to train with a man she wants almost open her heart to. Yes please, I'll take one of those. I will take one of those. So we ended up picking 8 books. It's alright, it's alright. That is an amazing TBR. I think it's got a bit of everything on there. I'm not gonna lie, this might be my favorite TBR yet. A lot of it's giving comfort because these are books that I've had for a while, slash I'm reading like kind of old favorite authors of mine with Taylor Jenkins Reid, Laini Taylor, Jenny Han. It's kind of giving OG booktube as well. I'm super happy with this TBR. I'm so glad I could fit on some non-fiction as well. So yeah, just to go through them, we've got Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor for a duology. We've got Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid for by an author with your initial. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid for by a favorite author. We've got Know My Name by Chanel Miller for a genre I don't usually read. The 100 Years War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi for 2024 TBR list. Always and Forever Lara Jean for carry on slash finish a series. Roots by Diz Tate for a gifted book. And lastly, Carrie Soto is back by Taylor Jenkins Reid for judge a book by its cover. So that is picking my TBR all complete. Now all I need to do is read these books. I don't think that's going to be a chore. I feel like I'm going to really enjoy all of these. I feel like every single one of these books could be categorized as a book that I should have read before now. So I think it's going to be a really satisfying month of reading through a lot of like my backlist books. Happy July everybody. I hope you have an incredible reading month. I hope you're having an absolutely spectacular day, and I will see you in my next video.
Literally chill. The patriarchy.